This video was originally very different. I decided to stop being a pushover and stop taking this bullshit. Here's the situation. Some people on a Falcom message board, possibly just one person at this point, have been spreading very serious allegations about me for a whole year now. The worst lie of all that you can tell about a person, actually. This one, multiple times across different websites in order to get my attention, or probably just to damage my reputation as well and try to ruin my life. And they're also obsessed with trying to get me to off myself, we'll say. This all started around the time I began to criticize certain people and companies. And it's funny, considering 4chan's VT board was just confirmed as a PSYOP board. So I do wonder if the one fucking with me is one of these awful cretins that I exposed and made look stupid. But hey, no accusations from me, just curious. Either way, it's all bullshit. Obviously, the lie goes nowhere, and no one with a brain in their head will believe a rumor that starts and ends on 4chan of all places, and provides no evidence or proof whatsoever. You can look into it yourself, it's obviously complete rubbish. The dude doesn't even know my real name, so I tried ignoring it for the past year, but they're still at it. They're still trying their best with what limited info that they have, and relying on someone dense enough to buy into this shit, hoping that it takes off. They were simple enough lies at first about my content back in the day, but now, as you can see here, in order for this obsessed parasocial person to get my attention, they're spreading lies about me being violent, saying I lied about my heart condition, and being, what's the euphemism? A PDF file, I think is a euphemism they use these days. For at least a year. For a year, at least, I've dealt with this, because they even turned up in my comments once. And I've said it many more times in the thread, but just with the word Luke attached instead of my full Magic Echo Luke username, which it's really cringe when I say it out loud. But instead of sitting and waiting possibly for the rest of my life for this to potentially go bad, if the person decides they're desperate enough for my attention to actually try this on more websites, I've decided to stop being a bitch. This collection of one or more anons threaten to harm me. They've told me to off myself numerous times, but that I can take. I'm not afraid of them. I don't lose sleep over that. But when that didn't work and I continued to ignore them, they went for the big one that they knew that I couldn't ignore. This started in 2023. The whole thing. And if they're still at it 2 years later, and they're making up this lie now for over a year, and the mods there still won't ban them, despite breaking the law, then I just have to get a leg up on it. This was pointed out in the thread. They will ban people for saying to bully a localizer on Twitter on that thread, but they won't ban slander and defamation of the most serious allegations without any evidence or proof whatsoever. Their mods are the worst mods I've ever encountered, and that's why their board is terrible too. That's why it's all just going to shit. And typically I don't believe in responding to allegations devoid of evidence to back them up. But this is a uniquely difficult situation. So here is my very professional official response. Fuck you. I won't be chased off the net for something I didn't fucking do. I will not live in fear of bullshit false allegations from some asshole who's obsessed with me. Or perhaps multiple assholes. And only throws them out there because you're anonymous and you know you can get away with it. Thank you for the confidence boost. Now, the only thing I truly fear in this life is somehow, against all hope, ending up as fucking miserable, pathetic, and soulless as you. That the most exciting thing that happened in your life is managing to make someone make a YouTube video about you for a few minutes after dedicating over a year of your life to trying to ruin someone else's. Every time I privated my videos, it's been about me and what I didn't like about them. So I took them down. I didn't take them down because 4chan called me names, but they're not deleted. They're still there, and so is all of the evidence of all the shit I have mentioned in my videos that other people did that I covered. The entire history of it is all still there. Every lie that has ever been told about me, I can disprove. And so I have all the screenshots of all the hundreds of times I've been mentioned in the thread, all the bullshit, just in case I actually need it. I have the receipts, I can bring them up if this goes completely nuclear. Which I doubt it will because I'm a nobody, but you never know what these people are capable of. That's right, all the stuff that got you so obsessed with me, that you've dedicated your entire life to being obsessed with some nerdy guy in England who makes video essays, a couple hundred or a couple thousand views per video. And even that's a miracle considering I'm not like monetized. Now, originally I was angry. I'll admit this. I was angry that this person or people will never face repercussions for this, for trying to destroy someone's reputation with such serious and severe lies. And angrier still because I was the one who had to deal with it, but now I'm okay. Because I know how awful a life you must live if this is something that you can justify. You will never force or even compel me to stop doing what I love to do, for as long as I love to do it. If I leave, it's because I'm done. Not because some vindictive asshole who's too afraid to talk to me directly is angry that I made fun of a video game series, or called out some people for being awful people a couple years ago in some expose drama videos that no one gives a shit about anymore. Even if I was posting in the thread trying to defend myself. Who even gives a fuck? This person, all because I made fun of some video games. Companies too. Some weird community mods who made lists about people to harass. That's right, one of them made a list of over 200 people, basically trying to get people to harass them because they said shit about the localizer. Now this started up, really ramped up when I started doing that, but whether or not it is these people that I mentioned is irrelevant. So I hope you enjoyed the attention that you got from me. I hope it was worth sacrificing your soul and writing about me almost every day on an image board. For anyone wondering why I made this vid, please consider what it's like to live with this hanging over your head for over a year, especially in today's age where on the internet guilt is presumed before innocence, and many people are expected to prove their innocence, despite how stupid that sounds. It does sound stupid, doesn't it? It is stupid, but that's where we're at. So this is just to get a leg up on things, you know? These days, just having an allegation next to your name is enough to have some people treat you differently. The digital age is a dystopian nightmare sometimes. But if this shit's gone on for 2 whole years, with their mind on me nearly every day on a thread, while I'm off doing whatever it is I'm doing, keeping to myself, just making videos about random shit, you know, games, we're already beyond the pale. I'm sure you can understand why I made the video. You fuckers don't have what it takes to get me to off myself. So yeah, that's my response. I don't expect anyone but the weirdos to care at all about any of this. It's not a video essay about a Final Fantasy game, and part of me hopes that it just kind of flies under the radar and I can use it just in case I need it. But if you did listen, thank you nonetheless. But yeah, I'm just saying, I'll never back down from this shit. It's all bullshit. I shouldn't have to prove anything, but this person obviously wants me to live in fear, and I'm just saying, not happening, because now I've exposed it for the bullshit that it is. Little update. So I made a post just before deciding to put the video out, kind of explaining things, hoping that I wouldn't have to put the video out, and pretty much what I expected would happen has happened. They were dumb enough to breach containment and comment on my channel with an obvious sock account. Don't engage with them. Don't even waste your time. They're saying things like the accusations don't exist because they didn't see them. That's actually their argument, and they're all freaking out on the thread. It seems all they have against me is this unsubstantiated claim that I'm on the thread replying to them, and pretty much everything they say. They seem to think they know what my writing style is, and it's all just kind of crazy shit at this point. They've all gone into overdrive, they're melting down on the thread. But I expected it. But like I said in that post, in an update that I made, I think it's just them realizing they don't have power over me. They pretend that the allegations don't exist. They're freaking out, just trying to turn it back onto me, basically, acting like I'm obsessed, like they're not the ones who've been writing about me for a year. These people are fucking insane, man. Don't even bother engaging. I shouldn't have replied to the comment, but kind of glad I did, because it gives me a chance to get my point across one last time. Like, if they can't see what it's like to have these allegations hanging over your head, they're probably just trolling. Also worth mentioning, in their attempts to sort of gaslight me into thinking that I'm overreacting to responding to being called a pedo for over a year, what they'll do is they'll upvote each other en masse, because they're a little group. What you will see is, if you actually use critical thinking skills, which I know they don't have, hopefully you do, you'll see that their entire argument hinges on an unfounded accusation that I am there replying to literally everything, and that accusation, even if it was true that I was replying to everything, which I'm not, replying to literally everything they say, even if it was, I honestly think it would be a perfectly normal reaction to being called a paedophile for over a year and having people tell you to kill yourself and having one threaten to harm me. I think that's fairly normal. But even then, I want to say, for the record, for transparency, I don't reply to literally every piece of slander against me. I've literally kept quiet about this for an entire year. But yeah, just remember, all these allegations, they are literally unprovable, as well as the one that they made against me about the sex offense bullshit that was complete bullshit as well. Everything they have on me is complete lies. Whereas everything I've said, I've literally backed up in the form of literal video evidence. But they won't care. They're just going to try and get a rise out of me, so I make video after video. Sort of like I did back in the day when I made a few videos clapping back at them. Anyone with a brain is going to see through their bullshit. But I understand that there will be trolls. Their entire argument hinges on shit that they can't prove, whereas I've proven everything that I've said with literal evidence. And that's not even all of it. What I haven't included is about... Tell you what, I'll check right now since we're doing this live. They're acting like it would be obsessive to be interested in a group of people calling you a pedo for a year. These people are insane. Here we go, the loot counter. So across, let's see, 88 different threads, the 400 or so times I mentioned, I literally have the photo evidence here of the loot counter. I think the most times mentioned was about 67 times. They're trying to paint me as obsessed when they have been mentioning me hundreds of times, probably thousands now, for 2 years. These people work in groups, and they try to gaslight me into thinking that I'm overreacting because of this. I'll tell you what, I want to show you something. Yeah, this thread, for instance, just to prove my point, fairly slow moving, right? Then I put that update out, boom, goes into overdrive. But another thing I've seen that I will quickly address for anyone wondering, the basic idea is I act like I'm not there. I've literally provided evidence from it. I've never said that I don't browse the general. By on there myself, I mean all the time and also posting. I said so in the post that I made. I already set the prerequisite for it. I figured it went without saying. I am browsing the general. I just don't post all the time like you think I do. It's really simple. This is the level of craziness I'm dealing with. But the good thing is, everyone knows the truth of the matter now. I provided all the receipts. They've lost their trump card. Once they played the pedo accusation card, they basically played their biggest hand. What can they say now that's any worse than that? But yeah, for transparency, yes, I was browsing the thread. People have been making serious allegations about me for like a year. Of course I'm going to want to keep up to date on what they're saying. I've never said that I'm not browsing the thread. You just can't differentiate between browsing and spam posting. I've even posted on the thread at times, I've said this too. But your idea was that I'm replying to you, and that every single time that you see someone replying to you defending me, you think it's me. That's not the case, and now everyone will know it too. This is the level of shit that I've dealt with. Well, I guess that's past tense now. You know, it's funny, since I'm going off the cuff here, I will say I remember back in, I think it was 23, I left the Trails fan base. I think I called a lot of people a lot of names as I did. And I remember I got reviled as a cancer by the community, which, after all of this, with all of this being connected to the Trails Falcon community, really strikes me as ironic now. It's really weird to think that all of this started because I made some Let's Plays of Trails in 2020. Either way, I'm free of it. I'll check in from time to time, see if they've upped the ante. But yeah, like I said in the post that you claim to have read, I recently actually adopted a strict policy of non-engagement with the thread, but I guess you missed that too. But yeah, this is me just washing my hands of this shit for now. I'm going to go take a break, maybe work on some videos, start some new channels. I might actually upload the Final Fantasy typo video soon. Really don't know. But this won't be an issue anymore. To be a little more open, since I am being that now. The heart issue, been a lot worse, but I'm really trying to get content out. But I think I kind of pushed myself a little too much as a result. I kind of overworked myself, so I'm going to take a bit of a step back. The other channels will be like short form, so that way I won't work myself into an early grave. But yeah, as I said in the post as well, which by now I would have disabled comments on because you can't hold comments and they'll try to get it. Thank you very much for all the nice words about my essays since January when I started. I think of all the things that make me want to keep making content of the kind I've been making, even though essays, the kind I do, are really extensive, has been the feedback I've gotten, because every now and again you just get someone calling you a fish and chip wanker or whatever. But yeah, some of the comments, a lot of you guys are much more intelligent and funny than me, and it's a joy to read your comments. You know, when I wake up in the morning and the health isn't good, genuinely puts a smile on my face, you know. But if anyone asks, I never said that, okay? It's just between us. Thanks again. Genuinely, you're the best.